This is Matt for Into Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined by former world champion, now trainer, Anthony Crolla. Anthony, first off, how's things, bud?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm good. Down here working for a few days and looking forward to the fight on Saturday. You know, good, solid main event for sure, and a little bit of lively action on the undercard.
Yeah, I'm going to say the main event's an interesting one, isn't it? You've got former world champion Danny Jacobs. You know, he really now, I think for him and John Ryder, I think few people are saying it's almost like a crossroads fight. Do you see it as that?
I don't know. I'd say more for Jacobs, more so for Jacobs. I think you got to remember, John's a pretty big underdog going in here. I know Jacobs wasn't at his brilliant best last fight out, but I think you've got to make John a pretty big underdog. But I think he's a very live one. I think he's a very live one. You could talk about inactivity, but John, obviously, since the fight with Callum, where he done so well, he's not been too active himself. So I'm glad he's got this big fight. And I believe the winner, obviously we've got to see what happens with all the belts with Canelo's. Great chance at some point to get vacated. I believe the winner of this will be right in a great position to be fighting for the world title in the next fight.
Absolutely. When you look at John Ryder and you look at his rise from obviously the few losses he's had, but he's bounced back, he put in a great performance against Callum, went from strength to strength, but there has been inactivity. But also what's weird about this fight is you don't often see the American, the A side, technically, coming over to the UK. So John's got a lot going for him in this fight as well.
He has, and especially with someone with Daniel Jacobs' name. And like the question is, I think, obviously he believes he's going to be world champion again, and this is the fight that he takes to put him right in that pole position. He's got a world title shot, and he's come over here for it. And I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure Daniel Jacobs has earned very good money out of boxing. So I don't believe it's for the money. So that's. Unfortunately for John, that makes it a little bit more difficult. But again, our Daniel Jacobs the best days behind him. Going off the last performance, that's what you point to. So it's a really interesting fight.
If you had to put your money down now on either one, I know that's always a sticky one when you're doing work out here, but you're obviously the favourite is Danny. But what do you think?
The favourite is Danny, and on points. But I think John's a very live underdog. If someone said, I think the smart bet would be Daniel on points, but John, I've seen it close up, especially with my mate Callum and that. John is a hard night's work for anyone. And that sounds disrespectful, that, because he's a world-class fighter in his own rights. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it at all.
Yeah, it's one of them where he is the underdog, but it's not going to be a surprise to anyone the way he's been fighting. When we look at this undercard, I'm going to start with Johnny Fisher, because that young man is 4-0, and I'm sure he's sold about 3,000 tickets. Talk to me about that and how big and how good that following is so early on.
That's amazing, and it's only going to grow. Obviously, he keeps putting in performances. Johnny seems a great lad, very likeable, which obviously helps sell tickets. And that's it. And there's a lot of fighters there. He's introducing a lot of new fans to boxing. But no, it's great. And listen, he's a promoter's dream, Matchroom. I'm sure they're looking after him.
Felix Cash, another test for him, WBC international title, I think. Another step on his rise to hopefully challenge for a world title shot. How highly do you rate him? Because he is an unbelievable fighter. I
like Felix a lot. Very good fighter, some great solid victories. I remember once when I fought, he stopped Jack Cullen.
Yeah.
Who else? And then I thought the Bentley win was fantastic win, because Bentley's a very good fighter.
He is.
Stunned him and jumped on him, finished the job. Really, really good.
We're not going to go over every card because we'll be here all night, but I want to touch on just a few things. We've seen Chris Eubank Jr. just beat Liam Williams. Obviously, I want to get your reaction to that, but we had a bit of an interesting call out. Conor Ben mentioned a catchweight. I mean, it's a bit of a talking point, but is it realistic?
No, I don't believe it is realistic. Listen, in the future, you never know. I mean, listen, Conor's, to Chris is a very big middle. He's not going to drop down in weight. Conor eventually will go up. He's nice and strong at welterweight, but it's always going to be interesting. It's always going to grab headlines, isn't it, for sure? But I thought Junior was a very good weekend against a good fighter, and he's shown everyone his boxing on the back foot has really improved. I've always thought he's a brilliant fighter. Might not be the greatest boxer, but I thought his boxing skills he's shown on Saturday had really improved.
From my point of view, I want to see him in with someone maybe who he doesn't completely hate, because I honestly think if he didn't, there'd be less of the show about him. But he made it quite clear after he was there to try and humiliate him. So I want to see what he'd be like without that.
I like Liam. I like Liam a lot, but Junior said it was feisty in the build-up, and for me, why I didn't mind that, because it's shown it was genuine. It wasn't like hugging each other after it. Oh, you're a warrior, this and that. It was a bit of genuine dislike. Listen, I'm not one of them who's like, you know, you shake hands, great, that's good, that's how it should be. But it was also a bit genuine, so I didn't mind that as much as what people are going on. I just thought it showing there's both being, you know, real.
Absolutely. Right, talk about this fight next week, Kell Brook, Amir Khan. I don't care what anyone says, whether it had filled that Wembley 10 times over, I'm absolutely buzzing for this fight. You tell me what you think about it.
I genuinely, you have to ask me from a winner next week. It's so hard to say. Yeah, I've done a few times. I know both lads, and it's a real tough one to call. And listen, there's no denying he's the best days behind both of them. Yeah, but it still sells massively. You know, from Manchester, and the amount of people who've asked me, can I get all the tickets, is unbelievable. I wish I could, but no. It's listen, it's a fight that's always, again, because it's that bit of genuine grudge, it'll always be interesting. But I think it's more of, one, how does the weight affect both fighters, and two, how does who's got the more left out of the fight. They've both been unbelievable fighters, but there's no denying they're both on, they're both on the line. I think they both admit the best days are behind them.
Right, and finally, come on to your fighter, Brianna Dixon. When can we see her back out?
April, I think. She's had an op, so she's had a problem. So she's not. Next week we'll know when she can punch again. But since the start of January, she's not been able to punch or anything like that. She's had the problem for a few months. She had it going into her last fight, really, but she'd waited that long to make a matchroom debut. We just wanted to get it. Do you know what I mean? We wanted to get it out there. We wanted to get it done with. Sorry. So she had the op, and I believe now, I can't wait to get to it. I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Am I right to say she's your first fighter that you've took under your wing since you've retired, or is it, who's the other fighter?
I had the first one I had was Dylan, but I was still active. No, I retired, so there's Dylan, who's not boxing now, and I've got Brianna Dixon, James Moorcroft, Jake James. Got a lad turning over before that, Alex Delmagana. So I've got 5 now, and I've just a new lad here who's going to be very good as well.
How are you finding it, this transition from big nights as a professional boxer to train? How are you feeling about it?
I've enjoyed it because I always helped out in the amateurs, and Joe Gallagher, like I've been helping him a couple of times a week since retiring. It remains like you still have the buzz then, do you know what I mean, of being in the gym, being around the same people, so you don't miss it as much. But yeah, good. Listen, I've got loads and loads to learn. You never stop learning this game, and I'm sort of at the start of my journey as a coach, but hopefully in time I can have good success with the lads and girls.
How much do you miss it? Because you retired at the obvious.
I don't miss it, I swear. Like, it's mad. Like, I love being here now. I'm at work, I'm around fight week, but how much do I miss it? It's genuine. Like, I can tell you, since I retired, I've done about 10 or 12 3-minute rounds in the gym, do you know what I mean? And that's in over a few years, so I've stayed half in shape, but not really through boxing. I'd like to say I'm in boxing, doing a lot of pad work and stuff like former fighters, but not, I'm happily retired.
That's good, because we often see fighters who retire and there's that little bit in them that thinks, one more, and you retired on your terms. You fought the very best, you had your world title, and you got out at, would you say, the right time?
I believe so, I believe so. Last time out I wasn't great at all, but I believe I could have carried on at a decent level, but I wasn't going to get to the heights I once was, so just being a bit realistic.
Absolutely. Look, and Crolla, thanks for talking to Into Boxing, thanks for your time, buddy, and we'll catch up again.
Sounds good.